Hi, guys. So today I want to talk about goals. And the reason I want to talk about this is because it's not only come up as a very relevant topic recently, but I think it's something that we don't talk about enough in terms of not just how important it is to talk about goals, but how are we meant to set them, how often we're meant to talk about them, and really how important they are. Let me just prop you up here. So we've been doing speech therapy for my son, who is deaf with cochlear implants. He's 5 years old. And we've been doing speech therapy now for 3 years. And our therapist has been great. A lot of it is parent led, so I'm involved most of the time in the speech therapy, and it has a lot of work that happens at home. And this specific year, my speech therapist at some point sat down with me and said that she feels like I'm not doing the same kind of work that I used to do prior to this year. At first, I was like, oh, okay. I kind of took it badly that I wasn't doing a good job with my son. But then I really heard her out. And she said that it's possible that the goals that we're setting are not aligned with me. And so she wanted us to revisit those goals. Well, I first thought she wanted to kind of revisit the whole purpose of our work together. It was not the case. She wanted me to really think about the goals I wanted for my son. So I did that. And the goals we had set with Iris, our speech therapist, I think had too much to do with what I call performance-based goals. How he was able to say words, how he was able to express himself, and so forth. And then I decided to think, okay, so the problem is it seems like I'm not doing the work that I used to do. And I gave excuses to that, which is the truth. There is a truth in the fact that I now have a 2-year-old in the picture, and I have a different kind of lifestyle. And also, my urgency towards my son is different than it was 3 years ago, right? And those were the excuses I first gave her. And while those are valid, there is a point to this where we can't just keep on giving excuses to each other. We have to actually think, do these goals really matter to us? And I appreciate my speech therapist saying that to me, because she could have just blamed me, and she could have blamed Talal, and she could have blamed herself. Instead, she pushed me to think about the goals. And I loved that exercise. I started to think, what are the things that are going to make me do the work when I'm tired? What are the things that are going to make me do the work when my daughter Ghalia is around and she's going crazy? So I had to think about my pain points, and I had to think about Talal's pain points. What were his moments where there would be an emotional crumble, a clash that would happen that would make him feel, I just noticed there's a box of clothes right here, that would make him feel bad about something? Or what are the moments where I felt like I would crumble deep inside? And I came up with those pretty easily. It was more about in Talal's case, he was crying a lot. In Talal's case, it was his inability to be maybe understood in certain circumstances. And I'm not going to list them right now because it's besides the point. And what I want you to get away from this is, if you're not putting in the work that you think you should be putting in, if you're not seeing changes, if there's a misalignment happening between the work and the outcome, I really urge you to think about what it is you're actually after, and if what it is you're actually after is something you actually care about. And it's a really hard question to ask, because we can be thinking about, if I'm thinking about my own personal goals and I'm thinking I want to have a bikini body by the summer. It's technically a goal that we all have. I would love to have a beautiful body. But do I actually really want this goal? Or is that a goal that was set by society? What is it do I actually want from this? Do I actually want that body? Or do I want to just feel good? And maybe in my cases, maybe I would like to feel strong and maybe I would like to not feel tight in my jeans, right? And these are more specific goals that will actually make us want to move and do the work. It's a really hard exercise, especially when it comes to your kids, because when you have a specific challenge that's going on with your child, it is so easy to say, if communication is your issue or social skills, let's go to social skills. If social skills is your issue, it sounds automatic to say, well, of course I want him to make friends. You want him to make friends and you don't want him to be alone. Is that moving you to do the work? What about him not making friends right now is hurting you? What is the moment that you see that hurts you? Could it be, I don't know, making something up? You're at a birthday and he's alone. So maybe the goal isn't about making friends. Maybe the goal is about him having a curiosity about the world or people having a curiosity about him. And maybe the goal is more about having a conversation about what is going on in the world for him and for others. That sounds a bit more attainable and a bit more detailed than saying, I want him to make friends. And that becomes even more complicated when you have a team around you, a very well-meaning team, which was the case for me, of professionals who come and set those goals for you, whether it's an IEP meeting or your therapy goals. And sometimes they will come with specific jargon. And the goals that will be set will be done in a way that is spoken, maybe in a language that you don't really understand or that you can't apply at home or that just doesn't generalize to your day-to-day life and to how it is to be with a child like yours everywhere. So it's important to actually have an alignment with what's going on from school and from the therapist and for everyone to be on board on the same timeline. With my speech therapist, we took it even further. I love that exercise so much that I asked my husband to do the same with her because of course he's going to have different goals than me. We can have the same big goal of, okay, independence, communication. We all want those things for our kids. It's not very hard to agree on. But as a father, he's going to be more focused on certain things, and I'm going to be more focused on certain things. And those pain points that we have are what is going to get us to move a certain direction when we're doing things on autopilot. So he got to think about his goals. And while our goals are very different, we've been aligned with our work. He gets to do work, I get to do my work. And I'm saying goals in plural, but really it can be just one goal. I don't think we should be working on too many goals anyway. It's going to be too overwhelming. So if you want to go back to this idea of the pain point, think about that one pain point. As long as you're doing a bit more than you usually do, your child is also going to feel that. He's going to feel that he's being helped. She's going to feel like you're doing something that you usually don't do. And that feels good. That feels really good. Your kids will like that. And the point is just to put ourselves in a successful situation of, I did a bit more than I did yesterday, or I did what I set out to do today. Because that's how, on a personal level, our definition of success should be. If I'm always going to think, have I done enough, or are we going to be successful enough, if I'm comparing to what I have in mind or the comparison or the ideal situation, that's just really, really depressing. Let it be that you're comparing to what you promised yourself to do today. So if it's one goal, one pain point, one task, let that be the way you are achieving that goal. Take it day by day and make sure you're choosing something that you actually really care about. And this way you won't feel like a total failure, and your child won't feel like this either.